Hi, hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Water Riff Radio. I am Amanda White, and this is the beautiful
Jill Marie, how are you?
where we dive into the current of water, health, and consciousness. So,
Mm.
today we are going to be exploring a connection that most people would never consider, the link between the water you drink and the health of your brain. And I know we've done many classes and we've talked about that quite frequently.
Mm.
Brain fog, memory loss, mood swings, and even serious neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. They're often blamed due to aging or stress or even genetics. But what if part of that cause was quietly flowing from your tap or bottled water? I'm going to let that sit for a second. And what if protecting your brain started with something as simple as water?
Mm.
Miss Jill is going to take it away with the brain water connection and what you really need to know about this.
Oh my goodness. Yes. One of my passions here. So the human brain is about 73% water, and every thought, every memory, every emotion is conducted through an environment that depends on the quality of the water inside of us. Our brain's water environment, it nourishes the neurons so that they fire. It removes metabolic waste. It conducts electrical impulses and it regulates temperature and chemical balance. My computer's a little high today. So, based on all of that, if the water that we're consuming is contaminated, oh my gosh, or stripped of vital minerals, the ecosystem inside of our brain can't function at its best. So I've talked to so many people about this and they're like, "Well, I've been fine now. I've heard so many, I don't even drink water, I don't even like water, blah 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 blah." But our brain can't even function without water. And we'll get there. We'll get there. So, let's go deeper into the water that it's made out from. Every thought, memory, and emotion is conducted through an environment that depends on water. We've got that. Water is essential for proper functioning of neurons, which are the building blocks of the brain. So when I say like electrical impulses or transmissions, these are the neural pathways. And Amanda knows this all too well. She is an NLP practitioner where you can rewire your brain patterns, your thought patterns, even your belief systems, because and you can create new ones. Well, if we have toxins inside of that brain, or maybe not enough water, we're dehydrated, those electrical pathways cannot actually connect. They're dead. They're like, it's like throwing a golf ball through a fence. Like, hey, we're hoping it's going to make it through there, right? This is why
That was
it's so
funny. Sorry.
important. I couldn't think of a visual off the top of my head, but yeah, it's just kind of like, pitching where there's no pitcher, hopefully it'll matter, it'll connect. This is why it's so important. And we're not taught of this from our doctor, because that's not what our doctor's there to do. Our doctor's there to treat the symptoms, not educate us on our body's functions, right? And I'm getting way off on a tangent.
And
Go ahead.
I was going to go way off with you. And
Oh, go
it's
ahead.
they are not even trained for things like that. Honestly, with what's coming out, they don't know anything about nutrition. They know nothing about X, Y, and Z, yet they're the ones treating our symptoms.
And quite honestly, it's not their fault. They were never meant to do that, which we put all of our decisions into the hands of doctors that aren't really there to, heal us. They're there to treat us, but not heal us. Um, yeah, that's a whole nother
That would
episode,
be a good
right?
class, by the way.
We need them when we need them. However, they're not there to educate us. So, water is essential for the proper functioning of neurons, which are those building blocks of the brain. And that's what supports the transmission, the electrical impulses. If you are dehydrated, have you ever felt like, oh, you're just so foggy, or you can't find that thought, which is probably me today? I need more water. I just can't connect that thought. It's not old age. It's not old age. It's not any of that. It's lack of water. If you have the lack of tools to complete the job, that's why it's not working. There's nothing wrong with you. You just don't have enough water in your cells.
And remember,
Anyway,
sorry, like
no,
even if you are 1% dehydrated, I know we keep going back to this in each episode, but 1% dehydration, your body shuts down because it needs to reserve that water for the brain. Because
mm-hmm,
without water in your brain, you wouldn't be here.
mm-hmm.
Like that's how important water is.
Exactly, exactly. And when you are depleted of minerals and things like that, um, if it's pulled water from everywhere else in your organs and your tissues, the last place it's going to pull from is your brain. So if you're feeling, forgetful and memory is an issue, and you don't have any energy, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It goes way deeper than that. But consider the quality of water that you're drinking, because your brain needs to be hydrated. Just like watering a plant, if you don't give it water,
Mm.
and not so much that, what I've learned this year, you'll laugh, being, what I do for a living, but I have plants in my house, and I'm like, I don't understand why they keep dying. Like, I have, organic soil and this and that. And I don't know who it was that said, well, they deplete the soil. You have to add, more nutrients to the soil every year if you're not repotting. And I was just, you can laugh. I'm laughing. I'm like, okay. Well, it's the same with our brain. So one of the other things that water does is it removes metabolic waste. The brain produces metabolic waste as it functions, and water helps to flush out these toxins, keeping the brain environment clean. However, however, as we've talked about in so many of our episodes, oh my gosh, some of those toxins don't just move through and eliminate themselves. Toxins like forever chemicals, toxins like plastics, microplastics, and things like that, they get stored in our tissue, they get stored in our brain. Heavy metals get stored in our brain. Drinking water alone doesn't just eliminate toxins. And mind you, these are toxins that have built up over time. If the average symptom takes about 30 to 35 years to start seeing a difference, you can imagine how much trash is collected and stored up there. So the quality of water that we're drinking is truly, truly a priority. It also conducts electrical impulses, which we talked about, regulates the temperature and the chemical balance, helps regulate the brain's temperature and chemical balance. It's what it is that I can't even think about that. It can't do that job if it's stripped of the minerals that it needs to do the job. And a lot of times you'll hear about like electrolytes. Oh, you need electrolytes. Or if you're drinking a water like reverse osmosis that strips the water of everything, everything, including the essential minerals that your brain needs. A lot of these systems will actually put minerals back in the system, but they're not the natural forms of the minerals needed to do this. However, it's something. But when we can maintain those minerals and keep the minerals in the brain and get rid of the toxins, That's when our brain is at its best. So let's go into these silent contaminants, if you will.
Bum, bum, bum.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right. So I guess let's just go with heavy metals first. We've got lead. Lead is linked to learning disabilities, memory loss, and reduced IQ. The exposure can be irreversible. It could damage the brain, especially in children, affecting their cognitive development, academic performance. And we think it's just them, right?
Genetics. Oh, it was.
Yep.
I had that.
Yes. And we are now learning everything can be manipulated, everything can change, right? You are not stuck with that story or that thing, right? It is up to us to do our due diligence and get the knowledge we need to be able to be like, you know what? I reject that. Mm-hmm. Moving on, mercury. So mercury disrupts neurotransmitters in your body. And we've talked about these so many times, but we're just going to give you a brief rundown of each. And that affects mood, cognition. It can accumulate in the brain, leading to all your neurological symptoms, or your mental health, Alzheimer's, dementia. And we're learning more and more about those two. We did a whole class on that. And if you are interested in that, we would love to share that with you. I was going to go into all the details, but I'm like, we don't need to do that right now. And then you've got aluminum, which is found almost everywhere. And this is also being done in research right now in Alzheimer's. So they are researching aluminum in Alzheimer's right now because it has been associated. They call it a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. That's very interesting. Mm-hmm. So aluminum, pay attention to aluminum. And then you've got your industrial and agriculture chemicals, like your pesticides, your herbicides, and those, you guys, they can cross the blood-brain barrier. Mm-hmm. And that affects your nervous system. That affects how you function. So these chemicals can interfere with your neurotransmitters, as we've discussed, and disrupt your brain ability to communicate effectively. So again, if you're wobbly or foggy, just drink some water. And if you don't have good water to drink, reach out to one of us and we'll see who's around your area that will share water with you. Absolutely. We have that ability. Mm-hmm. And then you've got your PFAs, which are your forever chemicals. And those, we've talked so much, but those disrupt your hormones. Those get, that interferes with your brain signals. They can interfere with thyroid function, which is critical for your brain development and your performance cognitively. Mm-hmm. And then we go into microplastics, which we have a whole class on. That class for me was very eye-opening. But you got microplastics, which are tiny little particles. And those cause oxidative stress, inflammation in the brain. They're actually doing studies on this on animals, which I was not very happy to hear about that, but they found inflammation in the brain from that. So again, microplastics can trigger so much, even inflammatory responses in the brain, leading to, again, oxidative stress, potential damage to brain cells. And then you've got your pathogens, bacteria, viruses. Those can also cause brain inflammation and directly trigger autoimmune reactions. And that can lead to so much meningitis. It just results in long-term neurological damages. And then, as Jill and I always talk about, you've got your chlorine and byproducts of that, which would be chloramine. But it kills harmful bacteria, right? But it also reacts to the trimethylanes, trihalomethylanes, and that is linked to cognitive decline. So again, all of these are just not good for us, especially
they're good for our pipes, but just not in our water. We need them in our pipes.
Right. But in our water, like
Mhm.
that is where we step in and say, I have a choice here.
Mhm.
Let me learn really how important water is and what it really affects within us and on us, like even the shower. Some people are like, it's just a shower water. Yeah, until you do a chlorine test and see how quickly your body actually absorbs things. Like
Mm.
it's like a sponge.
It's crazy.
And that leads to so many different diseases. But we think, oh, we got to go to the doctor to figure out what this is. When really, if we just changed our water and drank more of purified, clean water, a lot of that will dissipate.
Mhm.
So now
Absolutely.
we are going to go on to contaminants or how contaminants actually impact the brain, like what actually happens.
Mm. It's not good. It's not good. Um, a lot of these contaminants we come in contact not just at the water source, that's the major source only because there's no new water. And when these contaminants come through the air, they come through the air through sorry, I lost my train of thought. I need some water. They come through the air, they come through the skies. They are in the form of pesticides, herbicides, and I know we talk a lot about forever chemicals, but do you really know what a forever chemical is and where it comes from? Is the pesticides and the herbicides. These are all they're petroleum based products so that they don't wash off in the rain and they stay on the crops. That's why they were they're in our tires, they're in the shredded tires in our playgrounds. Like if you think it's just in the water, it's not. The air, it's in our clothes, everywhere. And
Bedding.
this is why we're so passionate about water because it all eventually ends up in the water. When it rains, it's runoff. Then it turns into gases, vaporous gases, and it goes back up to the air. And then, now it's in the clouds and it's this forever. It's a forever cycle. Forever chemicals are a forever cycle. And, you know, we didn't have these before 1940. We didn't have over 14,000 different strains of forever chemicals. Like we didn't have all that. So as all of this keeps growing and accumulating, there are look at the runoff from the roads when you're driving down the highway and it rains and all that runoff from oil and tires and hitting heat and concrete, all of a sudden the rain hits and it runs off all in the land beside the roads. Well, it doesn't just evaporate and go away, like it goes into our aquifers and things like that. I got off on a tangent. But these
Love
are
those.
all, they come from everywhere. It's not just our water. It's just the water that is so crucial because it's what we need inside of our bodies to function. And if it's contaminated, that's what we're here to talk about is filtering what goes in our body. Anyway, so crossing the barrier, some of these chemicals can cross the blood-brain barrier. And that means it can go inside of the brain. Like there's very few things that can do that with the size of I want to say nanoparticles. Don't quote me on that one because I want to research that, but I don't know how small it needs to be in order to cross the blood brain barrier. However, I know that illnesses do that, like Lyme's disease, tick-borne diseases, things like that. Now, those are in our runoff, those are in our water. Those are considered bacteria, viruses, protozoa, cysts, um, and they don't just contain that. Go ahead. Oh, are you finding it?
I am.
Ah,
To cross the blood-brain barrier, typically less than 400 to 600 Daltons, which I have no idea what that means.
I wonder how. Ask how many Daltons in a nano, what did I call it? nanometer. See, this is the fun stuff. Let's find out.
Hold on.
Well,
Sorry.
no. While you're searching, I'm going to go on to inflammation and oxidative stress. Who doesn't have inflammation? Like, you can tell when you see people where the inflammation is in their body. You can see it. Like, we're all learning. It's not just that you're puffy or you have redness in your face or this or that. Like, inflammation causes joint pain, uncomfortableness, stiffness. Like, it causes so many things, and it's referred to as oxidative stress. So when you look at the body, our body was made to operate around 7 pH. pH is potential for hydrogen, right? We don't live like that all the time because our body is able to fluctuate from an acidic environment to an alkaline environment. That's the beauty of our body and how it functions. And when you bring these toxins in, even like, just so say, take for instance, your body is alkaline. And usually you can tell by how you're feeling, the color of your urine. That really tells a good story of how alkaline you are. Your skin, how easy does it retain? Does it plump back to its normal? You're hydrated here. You're most likely alkaline. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, but our body is made like water, to wave, to flow. And when we come in contact with an acidic environment, so say you're in a smoky bar, and you'll laugh. We don't consider our environment as acidic, but when you're in a smoky bar, smoke, toxins from cigarettes, from cigars, from other things, of that burning is actually acidic. And when you come in contact with it, even if you're not doing it, you come in contact with it, our bodies absorb that. And it needs to know what to do with that. Like, okay, I don't want this to make my whole body acidic. So our body adjusts, and it will take water from one area and pull it to another area of our body, whether it's our organs, our brains, our skin, what have you. And so something as simple as smoking, vaping, that's what I was going to use. Vaping, we don't think anything of it. And this is not a judgment. This is not a good or bad, or I'm just using these for examples. But our body is made to pivot in these situations. When we have chronic oxidative stress, you're going to feel more pain, more low energy, more brain fog. You're just not going to feel like doing anything. And then other things have room to grow. Like, maybe now you're forming diabetes. Now you're getting into symptoms of Alzheimer's. Now you're getting into symptoms of hormone imbalance, endocrine issues. This is oxidative stress. This is where we're being exposed to too much acidity, and our bodies aren't pivoting very well. Does that make sense? Our bodies are made to pivot. So when we get in those areas, that's when we start seeing symptoms, or, we're gaining weight and we're not able to get rid of it as we used to. It's not old age. I'm telling you. If I hear that one more time, it's not old age. It is our environment, our acidic environments. And so toxins actually trigger the release of these inflammatory chemicals and free radicals that damage the brain cells. So all of that just to explain water in the brain.
Water in the brain.
Let's move on to neurodegeneration, which we kind of talked about. Over time, repeated exposure to these acidic environments, behaviors, patterns, what have you, causes the brain to shrink. If the brain's not getting the water that it needs, the clean water that it needs over time, it impairs signaling and loss of cognitive function. It's just a matter of these toxins are now able to turn on genes that we didn't think much of, like, predisposition for Alzheimer's, for Parkinson's, for whatever diabetes. Doesn't mean you're going to get them, but these toxins and oxidative stress actually turn them on. So this is why it's so important to have toxin-free water in the brain.
And then as you're listening, like what toxins do you think are in your water?
Oh, yeah.
Let us know your concerns. Drop them in the comments. And if you're watching this right now, hashtag replay or live, and let us know.
Yeah.
All right. Are we moving on, Miss Jill? Or do you have anything else to say about that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we are moving on. Let's look at symptoms to watch for. This is a good one.
Yeah. So, what symptoms do you think you should be watching for right now after hearing all of what we've had to say so far? Let us know. Drop them in the comments. So, number one, we've got brain fog. And we've all experienced, for the most part, brain fog, right? That feeling of mental confusion or lack of clarity. It can affect everything from your daily activities, even decision making. So again, if you're struggling in one of those areas, drink some more water, see how you feel. We're always with exactly like just one thing at a time. Drink more water and document that for the week. See how much better, how
You're frozen. There you go.
Am I back?
You are. You're back. Okay.
Hi. And see how you feel. Do you feel better? Do you feel worse? And then memory lapses. Do you have difficulties recalling certain things or events or information? Are you very forgetful? Again, cognitive decline. And that can tie into a whole bunch of things, right? There's so many different declines we could have, but are you just really spacey, forgetting things? Drink more water. Clean water. Chronic fatigue. Do you always feel tired? Are you not relieved by the rest you get? That can affect your quality of life as well. If you're always tired, you don't really feel like doing much of anything, right? Drink more water. Depression. Instability with your mood. Like, are you riding a roller coaster? Are you up one days and really, really low the next? If you have a lot of fluctuation, drink more water. I mean,
clean water.
it seems so simple, but yet so many of us aren't doing that. Are you feeling sad or helpless or hopeless? Again, mental health is the thing. Drink more water. Cleaner water, purified water. Are you having issues sleeping? Do you have issues falling asleep, staying asleep, waking up and falling asleep, and then waking up again? Restfulness. Again, this is all a part of dehydration. And I mean, are you struggling to problem solve things? I know we kind of hit upon this as decision making, but lack of focus. You can't concentrate. You don't have your attention. It can all be affected by the lack of water we have. So now we're going to go into what can you actually do about that? How can you protect your brain? Some easy solutions for you.
Oh, goodness. Well, you can test your water at home. You can use an EPA certified lab or an at-home kit to identify your contaminants. However, a lot of us, and this used to be me, I didn't even know what I was looking for. I didn't know what contaminants did. So I didn't, different tests for different things. So if you're ever wanting to look specifically at your own place, definitely go with a place like One Tap Solution. You can actually they have residential home kits that you can get. If you don't want to go to that extent, I would highly, highly advise you to go to ewg.org/tap water database. This gives you an overview like you wouldn't believe it. And it's pretty up to date. I think it's up to date through 2024 for your local municipality. So you just type in your zip code and it'll bring in your specific municipality. These results on here are, I mean, they're pretty extensive, and they will let you know if there's a legal limit. And there's a lot that really don't have a legal limit. So instead of blaming our municipalities, it's educating us as to what is coming through the pipes in our water. Choosing the right filtration. Oh, yes.
Huge.
I'm very opinionated about that only because of all the filters that I've been through, that I've used, that I found out later. Oh, we only remove 60% of the chlorine because of the certification, not 100%. All of this, my human design is find what doesn't work until you find what does work. And so that's been my life. That's been my life. I've used the Brita filters. I've had the fridge filters. I even, when I moved out to Amish farm, we had purchased a Berkey, and this is no dirt on Berkey at all. We thought it was the best for where we were at. However, their filters cannot be certified through any third-party lab testing because we won't go there. We won't go there today. Anyway, it just wasn't right for us. So, and then you look at like old technologies like reverse osmosis. Mind you, it's still out there. RO and a water softener, take out the calcium carbonate. Are you for the hard water, strip everything out of the water. However, if you're not adding the minerals back in, you're not supposed to drink that. It's not meant for drinking. You can shower in it, you can do the thing, but most people are just using it on one sink, if that makes sense, because it is very, very expensive to own. You have maintenance on it. It requires electricity, and there's a lot of wastewater. Doesn't make it bad. It's just an outdated system. There's better out there. And then you have like distillation, complete distillation, and mineral drops. I mean, it's effective as long as you're remineralizing. You just have to keep up on that. Then you have remineralization.
Nothing is better than getting it from source, though. Let me just be very clear. Like, nothing is better than getting it from the actual source.
Yes, I totally agree. Remineralization and structure your water. There's magnesium, potassium, and calcium help nerve conduction and hydration inside those brain cells. Well, I'm telling you, we're going to have to drop the PureWay filtration system in here because literally it keeps the good magnesium, the good calcium, and the good potassium in the water as it filters everything out. It is so, so smart. And it's done without chemicals. If you want to see that, let us know. Just drop a water drop in the comments if you're interested in seeing how that works. That's what we go with, only because you just won't believe how amazing the system is. What we do is partner it with an ionizer. And what that does is replace all the chemicals that you currently use in your home for dishwashing detergent, to remove and emulsify those petroleum-based herbicides, forever chemicals off of your food. And you can use, we have an episode on that. You can use the baking soda and the vinegar and all that. It doesn't emulsify it and remove it. It actually, your food's going to absorb that as well. Not a bad thing, just an outdated technology. That's all. But when you pair these two together, like this is every tap in your home.
Like magic. It's like pew, 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 fireworks everywhere.
Exactly. So, I mean, it includes your drinking water, it includes your shower water, it includes the water that you're brushing your teeth in, washing your face. I I didn't even think about that. It's like my sink before I got mine. My sink is not even covered. So I had a filter on my sink. I had a filter on my shower. I had a filter on the bath spout. Then I had a filter in the kitchen. But guess what?
And all those
They didn't filter everything out.
and all those come with replacements too.
And it's like, oh, that got expensive. So it is a priority. Yes, we do definitely recommend that system because you're talking about like your family, your pets, like people you have in your home. Like this is a whole lifestyle of hydration and replacing these toxic chemicals. If we want them taken out of our water, we have to stop putting them back in our water by using them.
Usually how that works.
Usually how it works. So, yes, we always advocate for clean municipal water. Um, this filtration system actually covers the wells as well. So, it's quite amazing because every different area has different runoff, and the well systems are customized to your specific area and what is the priority there. So, yes, I'm pretty passionate about what I recommend because there's a reason. And when you're looking at long term, if you think you can't afford that now, it's a fraction of the cost of what is out there when you look at it. The long-term effects, I would not want those. I would not want those. It's quality of life. It's quality
And
of
it goes back to have a filter or be a filter.
yeah.
And again, if you
Yes.
have a filter, yeah, sure, that's an upfront cost, but later on, you're not going to be forking out everything that you will be for your health later on if you are the
Right.
filter.
Yeah. And look at your doctor visits, your medications, maybe your supplements. Another episode. That's for
Yep,
another episode.
another episode.
So bring us home, Miss Amanda. Bring us home.
All right, so the science is clear here, right? While the toxins in your water can harm the brain, every sip of clean, mineral rich water you drink moves you towards healing. Water moves you towards healing your body and your brain. And it's so simple, we overlook it because we're never taught about this. But your body and your brain, it can regenerate, it can repair when you give it the right tools, when you give it the right environment, when you give it the right fill in the blank. It needs certain things and we need to provide that. And it's up to us to do that, right? No one's gonna, well, I mean, we're here educating, but no one's really gonna sit you down and be like, okay, you should have learned this a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is. And here we're making conscious choices now, right? About the water we consume. And when you know better, you do better. We can support our brain health. We can support our body and potentially reduce the risk of any and all diseases. We can get rid of the new ones, right? The things that keep popping up over the last 10 years. If we cleaned our water and had purified water, maybe some of those would go away. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a powerful reminder that our health is in our hands, and every choice we make contributes to a healthier, more vibrant life that we live. So bringing it home.
Bringing it home,
your,
baby.
your brain is your most precious asset,
Mm-hmm.
and the water is its primary environment. Literally, your brain sits in it. So protect your water, protect your mind.
Mm.
Ooh, I love that.
I love that too.
So we appreciate you for being here with us on Water Riff Radio. If you found this eye-opening or interesting, share it with someone you love. Share it with someone that's maybe going through some health challenges. Because again, your brain health starts in your glass in front of you. So as we close out every episode, stay hydrated, stay informed, and stay curious. And again, join us every week for Water Riff Radio. We choose a different topic every week. And if this is something that's eye-opening for you, share us with other people too,
Mm-hmm.
right? The more people we have on this powerful mission, the better. And who knows, we could maybe clean up our water source because this system captures and kills. No other system, I believe, on the market does that right now.
Mm-mm.
And if you found one that does, please inform us because we would love to actually investigate that as well. So until next time, keep your mind sharp and your water clean. And again, if you need choices, reach out to Jill and I. We will gladly schedule an appointment to just go over options with you.
Mm.
We're here to serve. We're here to educate. That is what we do in this space.
Absolutely. So we will see you next time on Water Riff Radio.